Let's also get your reaction from CII President and Chairman of the Godrej Group, Adi Godrej, who I spoke with a little earlier. Mr. Godrej, have you clearly welcomed the move? Are you rejoicing that the government has finally decided to bite the bullet?
Well, I wouldn't use the word rejoicing, but I certainly welcome the move. It's very important that our fiscal consolidation takes place. We cannot continue with the current fiscal deficit for too long without suffering severe consequences. Most importantly, the country's rating would be negatively affected. That will create several other repercussions which would have terrible consequences on the Indian economy. I think clearly we cannot continue these very high fuel subsidies. They need to be contained. It's an extremely important step which I welcome, and it will lead to increased economic growth. First of all, there is criticism that it will be a burden on the common man. But if you look at it, the rupee has appreciated after the announcement, which would help contain the inflation in the country. And in case India were to be derated, I think the consequences across the board, especially on the common man, would be quite unbearable.
So it's wonderful that you're able to understand why it is absolutely necessary for the government to take that very unpleasant and politically sensitive decision to hike diesel prices. But the Aam Aadmi really does not understand it, and political parties have clearly opposed the move, even demanding a rollback. What would you say to them?
Well, I think it is very important that the national economic interest be put above political interest. It's very important that in these difficult circumstances we support what the government is doing to ensure that GDP growth is restored, that fiscal deficit is contained. I think it's clear that it is a difficult decision. I'm glad the government has taken the decision, and I'm sure the country will benefit, including the Aam Aadmi.
Like we said, it's been a mixed reaction really to that diesel price hike, with consumers and political parties, allies and the opposition particularly unhappy. But the industry is happy, and so are investors. And the Lal Street reaction there on your screen, 443 points in the green, 2.46%. That's been the smart gain that we've seen on the Lal Street today on the back of that diesel price hike. And of course, some global factors also adding to that. 2.6% for the Nifty, 142 points in the green. 5,577 is how the Nifty closed today's session, and the rupee also 1.8% gain for the rupee, trading at 54.3. That's the kind of gain that we've seen on the rupee, and again we've had economists and the industry explain why this has happened on the back of that diesel price hike. And as we said,